Over the past 3 years, the Beijing government has acknowledged a slight decline in China's population. However, ordinary Chinese people have expressed panic at the lack of people on the streets. Some in overseas Chinese communities have suggested that China's population is only around 1 billion. We've observed that there's some basis for this claim. In this episode, we'll explore this topic. That is, how much has China's population decreased?
Shanghai's newcomers is dwindling. Everywhere looks empty. It used to be bustling with people. But what's happened now? Where have all the people gone? Have you noticed a strange thing? There are fewer and fewer people on the streets these days. Where have they gone? The biggest mystery of 2025 is, where has everyone gone? Aren't there 10 million people in Hefei City? Where have they all gone? There are no people on the streets, no one in the malls, no one in the restaurants. Even the vegetable vendors out back told me there's no customers there. Where have all the people gone? It's really strange.
These ordinary Chinese people, feeling panic and raising questions, had no idea they were touching upon state secrets. The real crisis lies in the layered falsification from local governments to the National Bureau of Statistics. Perhaps no CCP leader knows the true extent of China's population data. If a country's economic, social, political, defense, and diplomatic policies, including pensions, are based on inaccurate population data for a long time, such decisions will undoubtedly have long-term consequences. This demographic error, a fact the CCP has made before, is one of the factors contributing to the current population crisis in this communist nation. Since the beginning of 2025, a flood of confusing content regarding population has flooded Chinese social media.
Has a population of 1.4 billion. But Fuzhou, a city with a population of over 8 million, has no one on the streets and no customers in the shops. This is Zhongting Street, 9 p.m. Who can stand this? Where has everyone gone? The current situation in Xiamen is truly astonishing. Those millions of people mentioned in the statistics have vanished into thin air. Business owners are complaining about the deserted streets, while countless mom-and-pop shops are struggling to survive, their customers simply vanishing, nowhere to be found. People on the island claim the area is deserted, and those outside the island also report significantly fewer people than last year. Driving into the island during rush hour is noticeably less congested.
Hey guys, is it Saturday? There's not even a car on Friendship Road. These past 2 days, I've noticed Harbin is completely empty of people and cars. It's terrifying.
Let's first look at official data from Beijing. China's National Bureau of Statistics announced on January 17, 2025, that by the end of 2024, China will remain the world's second most populous country. Mainland China's total population will be approximately 1.40828 billion, a decrease of 1.39 million from the end of the previous year, marking 3 consecutive years of decline. At the same time, the population is aging. By the end of 2024, China's population aged 60 and over will reach 310.31 million, accounting for 22% of the total population, a continued increase from 296.97 million the previous year. Later, on February 28, 2025, the Chinese government released the Statistical Communiqué on National Economic and Social Development in 2024. This report shows population changes in 13 Chinese provinces, 8 of which have negative natural population growth rates. Of the top 5 provinces by GDP, 4, excluding Guangdong, have negative natural population growth rates. Shandong's natural population growth rate was minus 1.67 per thousand, Jiangsu's was minus 2.7 per thousand, and Sichuan's was minus 3.02 per thousand. Chinese academics are even more pessimistic about China's population than the official figures. MyCoas Consulting, a Beijing-based data company, released a report in June 2025. The firm analyzed peak birth rates over the past 2 decades and compared them with data from 2024. The report found a significant decline in births in most provinces, with several populous provinces experiencing declines exceeding 50%. The results show that birth rates peaked in 2016 and 2017 across all provinces, followed by a general decline. Shandong province, known for its high fertility rate, saw a 63% drop. What are the findings of the United Nations research on China's declining population? Last year, in July 2024, the United Nations released the 2024 edition of its World Population Prospects, WPP 2024, which projected that China's population would drop to 633 million by 2100, more than 70 years from now. This figure is lower than the 767 million predicted in the 2022 edition and significantly lower than the 1.065 billion projected in the 2019 edition. But Fuxian Yi, a senior researcher at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and a Chinese population expert, believes the UN always overestimates China's population. His article, published on Radio Free Asia, cites many examples of this, one of which reads, for example, the 1992 edition predicted that under the one-child policy, the fertility rate in 2023 would be 2.1 and the population would be 1.53 billion. The 2012 edition revised the fertility rate in 2023 to 1.7, lowering the population to 1.44 billion. However, even after abolishing the one-child policy and implementing the three-child policy, China's official fertility rate in 2023 was only 1.0 and the population was only 1.41 billion when it should actually be less than 1.28 billion. The total fertility rate generally refers to the average number of children born to a woman in her lifetime. China's total fertility rate in 2023 was 1.0 and has been declining over time. A country generally requires a fertility rate of 2.1 to maintain a stable population. Neither the United Nations nor Professor Yi took into account the loss of life in China during the 3-year pandemic. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, claims that by the end of 2024, mainland China's total population will be approximately 1.40828 billion, a decrease of 1.39 million from the end of the previous year. Given public confusion, why does the CCP insist that China still has a population of 1.4 billion? 2 years ago, on January 17, 2023, at a Chinese Foreign Ministry press conference, a reporter asked, China announced today that China's population at the end of 2022 was 1.41175 billion. Last year, the United Nations estimated India's population at 1.412 billion. India is projected to have surpassed China to become the world's most populous country. What is China's comment on this? China's response was, both China and India are populous nations with abundant labor resources. Both countries should leverage their demographic dividend to achieve their respective development and revitalization and make greater contributions to the future of humanity. The CCP's goal remains to use the population figure of over 1.4 billion to paint a rosy picture of a demographic dividend for the world and the Chinese people. However, even ordinary Chinese find this unlikely.